Welcome back to A Toda Madre. It is your boy Lus, and I got a special guest. I got my boy Vizzy in here.
What's up,
Now,
guys? Y'all looking at the future Super welterweight champion right here?
sheesh. Now,
Glad to be on the show.
me and Vizzy met at a boxing group chat, just like Scorpio, just like Alfredo, and just like Richie. This is where I met this guy. The only difference is that Vizzy is actually going pro. I believe from all the group chats that I've been, he's the one that's taking it serious. Where I believe he debuts May 10th, Mother's Day, in Nevada, right?
Yeah, Reno
In
is what we're
Reno.
looking at right now.
All right, now it sucks for my boy right here because he has been postponed on his pro debut about 2 or 3 times, if I recall, and he gets bumped. So before we get into all the nice predictions, I want to get to meet you a little bit, Angel. Let's talk about you. Why did you join boxing? Why do you want to go pro?
All right, this is good. This is good. I was actually looking for my first time to get interviewed, but it is like some people like they get into the sports for reasons like personal reasons, but mine was more because it's gonna get personal. But I used to sell a lot of drugs before, like a lot of drugs. And when you're doing those stupid stuff can happen. And I just wanted to get my name out there in a better way, in a better manner. So I started boxing, and I got there really fast. And once I started boxing, I already got my amateur booklet 6 months in. So I was advancing really fast. At any gym I went to, I was giving good work to people who are already years in.
Okay. And you are fighting out of Nevada, correct?
Yep, 100%. Las Vegas, the fighting capital.
Eso chingao. Now, in a fun way, what I know that I don't think you watch a lot of movies, but if you were to watch a boxing movie, which one's your favorite boxing movie?
I would like to be honest. The first movie I watched when I first started watching was the original Creed because I like the Rockies, but I don't know. I really couldn't sit through it. I had to sit through something a little more new gen. Just my opinion.
That's all right. And of course, he is a 17-year-old that's gonna go pro at a very young age. Do you believe you're late in the game, or do you think you're at a right time to enter pro?
I think I'm at a really right time. My coaches are moving me pretty good, pretty well. I have a teammate, Emiliano Moreno. He's 12-0. We're under the same team. He's a really good boxer, and we have the same coach. So if he's 12-0 at 19, and they're pushing me to already debut this year at 17, then I'm gonna be on the fast track. They clearly believe in me. They see something in me. So I like the pace that we're going at.
Now, no te entran a ti los jitterish? Like you don't get jitterish when you hear, "Hey, we're gonna debut you." You don't get
No,
nervous, or are you all in? You're focused, or do you think you like maybe in the momento you're like, "Fuck, this is happening."
nah. I've never really like since I first started. I've never really felt like nervousness. I got really used to like with the sparring atmosphere and all that because I was going gym to gym to spar. Like one of my first spars was against a 26-year-old with 13 fights already, and I had to really dig deep in for that one. So yeah. Well, what was the question again?
No. It was just that if you get nervous or jitterish every time
Oh, yeah,
you.
my bad.
No, because I know that you've sent your sparring videos, you've sent your footage when you're in the bag. People who follow me, if you guys want to follow his channels on Instagram, I'll put it on the bottom, and he also has a TikTok. If you guys want to like to see him continue his pro debut and more into the future, so you can kind of get this little Hispano into it, because you are Mexican Cuban, right, or Cuban Mexican?
Yeah, I'd say I'm more primarily Mexican because the family that I stay around is all just Mexican. The only part that I'm Cuban is from my dad's side, and yeah, I clearly don't know that fool.
So that means that you're gonna eat tacos al pastor, you're gonna eat your fucking tamales,
And I
and all
already
that.
am. I'm a little David Benavides. I'm a little weight bully already. But yeah, back to the question. The nervousness. No, I really haven't felt that. Like I've already had my first couple of fights in the amateurs. One at 155 and then one at 165, and they went very well. I the number one thing I try to keep when I'm in is definitely I try to keep as calm as I can because when you're calm, you just let stuff go and it just feels natural.
Was that true? Now, una pregunta on this process, because what's your natural weight?
My natural weight, I'm a fat boy. My natural weight, I'll be honest, I could see like the high 170s, maybe like low 180s.
Damn. And
Yeah.
you are cutting down to, you said 154, right? Which is junior welterweight? No, no.
No, for yeah, that is junior welterweight, but no, that's junior middleweight. That's junior middleweight.
Junior middleweight, my bad. Yes.
Yeah,
Junior middle.
but
You're aiming for 154.
no, it's so for pro, we're actually gonna get me down to 147.
Oh, wow. You're going to cut like 40 pounds.
It's not that I really have to cut 40 pounds. I just gotta get my eating habits better because sometimes I'd be binge eating. So, well, once we get closer and once we get into camp, like my weight just naturally goes down by itself. So the weight cuts, I only end up having to cut like 10 pounds in the last 2 days. That's for
All right.
amateur twos. So the pro, it's gonna be way better. Or I might have a whole day to rehydrate after those little 2 hours I got up to. So for the 165 fight. I weighed myself in because you have a 2 to 3 hour period before, so you could like rehydrate, eat before the fight. I went from
Yes.
165 to 176 in those 2 hours.
All right. And it is easier because you are younger. Once you get older, it's a little bit harder to do that. As a lo que iba yo, like myself, I'm 35. I entered this little weight competition at my work to see who can who would lose more weight in a 1 month period. We will try to go all out. I try to do it. Y pues valió madre. Because I only lost like 6 pounds, 7 pounds, which was good for me personally. But I lost against these foods. I lost like freaking 15, 13, 12 pounds, bien mucho. So my next question would be on this process of you losing weight, what is the most hardest thing for you?
The cravings, the cravings. I'm a little. I used to be 300 for a reason. If y'all don't know that, I used to be 300 pounds a couple years ago, and I got my weight down right now to 160s, 180s, walk around, and then that's why I'm able to fight pretty low. I'm able to fluctuate my weight really well because I'm used to losing a lot of weight.
So when you're saying cravings, are you talking about your cheeseburgers, your tacos, or what is it that you crave the most?
Oh shit! It's like exactly what Javante Davis said, bro. The Jolly Rancher gummies, they hit. Jolly Rancher gummies.
All right, when you're focused on a boxing style, because you have that Cuban blood in you, and you have that Mexican warrior in you. Would you consider yourself more Mexican based or more Cuban based?
No, definitely Mexican. I like fighting. I don't really like boxing. Like I like getting into like I like banging. No
Yes.
dating.
Now, what people believe that once what people believe, a lot of people, is that if you're a Mexican warrior that you go toe to toe, a lot of people don't see the defense in it. But I've seen, for instance, Chocolatito and Gallo Estrada, their offense is their defense. They're in the booth, but they're using your arms. They're ducking while being the offensive fighter. Do you believe you're going to be like that, or do you believe you're going to be more like a David Benavidez, where he just posts up and he lets them go to the body a lot?
No, I think actually I'll be more like in between because, like you said, they do use their offense as their defense, and sometimes I think that is what's dumb and what could get them outboxed sometimes because that could create a lot of openings. So I think I'm going to be more like a mix because I like to switch it up sometimes. Like I've shown you guys clips. I don't know, you guys could see clips if I ever post. I don't really like posting sparring, but I could box in there. I could move and then I could bang too. It's either way. I could go 50-50. So I think I'm gonna definitely be like a boxer puncher. Probably like a little like David Benavidez. I worked at his camp. He's really good at boxing, really good at fighting. I saw him spar. He was whooping ass, but he's like a monster, like a come forward monster. Like I say, I'm gonna be, especially because I'm in the little lower weight divisions. I'm gonna be a little more of like a brawler boxer, like a good in between mix. Like I'm not just gonna be a dumb brawler because that's what like stops most Mexicans at like the higher level.
Yes, yes. And I was gonna say, you you already have your own nickname, at least on Instagram. It's Alacran. Are you gonna continue to keep that, or are you gonna change it throughout the time?
I might keep that one. I might keep that one to be honest, because I am from Durango, so we do have a lot of things to do with alacranes over there. But when I first started boxing, like the gym I went to, my OG nickname was El Toro, because I just would be in everybody's face. Like I would just try to fight everybody. That's
I don't
all.
mind. I don't mind El Toro, and I don't think we've ever had it. I don't know if we ever had El Toro as a professional nickname.
I don't think that's like a high level nickname
It's,
yet.
it's not, because I know that the only Alacran that we've ever had, at least on the Mexican side, was Miguel Berchelt, which he was a champion at 130, and he's the one who got knocked out by Oscar Valdez.
Hmm.
Which he defended his title like 6 times or 5 times, before end up losing it really bad. And unfortunately, after that, he just became punch drunk because that was a nasty, brutal war who got knocked out really bad.
That's why I'm definitely gonna try to add like a lot more defensive boxing to like my actual
Yes.
style. But I do like I say like I when I get hit like I want to hit them like 5 times back. So I like fighting.
It's like you're in a way you're like, come on, better be. You you want to get that lick back. You got hit. Okay, I'm gonna get hit, but just know that I'm giving you your return.
Yeah, I've definitely like I'm a little more like that because I spar. To be honest, the way that I spar respectful until it doesn't like get respectful. If like they start doing stuff, that's when I'll trigger it up. But if you're respectful, definitely I'll just try to get my lick back if you ever hit me. But if you try to be respectful, I'm gonna put some belt to ass.
If you can critique one thing about your boxing that you think you need to work on a lot more, what would it be?
I'd say definitely in my last camp when I was getting into the 6th through 8th round, I dropped my left hand a lot, and it just be like a bad habit that I have during that because I do 4 rounds with one boxer and he be a southpaw, and I do 4 rounds next with orthodox, and I was getting clipped a lot against the orthodox. I was realizing, and it was more because I was getting tired. So I'd say definitely my defense when I get tired, which also ties into my conditioning. But the new coach that I'm with conditions my ass off. Like I told you today, 3 hour conditioning, just conditioning today.
3 hours just condition, which is good because I believe when you were messaging us, you're in the camp with Caleb Plant, correct? Even though you haven't sparred with him or you haven't really talked with him, you are in that camp with Caleb Plant. Am I right?
Yeah, right now he's coming to DLX and to Pound for Pound. And usually I catch him there on the way out at Pound for Pound. I met him there a couple times. I've seen him there a couple times. He looks really good. I like the way he's looking. He's definitely training hard.
All right. And of course, and that I know of, he suffers a lot from conditioning. So maybe that's why he went to your camp for that conditioning part. You
Um, no, no. See the way that right now I'm with I use Pound for Pound as like a training place, right? So
yes.
because I know a lot of people there, my coach knows a lot of people there. So when I go there for Pound, it's more just to work with my coaches there. But the actual gym I'm working at right now is Mob Boxing.
Okay, okay, okay. And you are in the desert of Nevada. That means that you really don't have mountains out there. So I would recommend as a runner in the past, because I used to run a lot. I was a marathon runner. I would say try to find some mountains with high altitude so you can run your miles. That's the
Yeah,
best thing I can give you as a runner so you can get your condition in. We gotta remember Triple G, that's one of the reasons why he always threw a lot. El Camarón Cepeda, because they work on high altitude.
yeah. They work at Big Bear.
They work at Big Bear. El Cepeda actually is in El DF, and they're very high on altitude. So when they come down to fight like to Tijuana, Las Vegas, todo eso, well, they have 6,000 feet over you. And everybody knows that when you go high in altitude, it's good on your oxygen.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. There is a couple mountains out here. Like if you've seen, like sometimes I posted mountain runs. Like we go to Mount Charleston for sure, but like Mount Charleston is damn near the only mountain we have out here. So you're gonna see like almost all the boxers there. Like I've seen the Vargas brothers there. When I was in camp with Benavidez, and him and my teammate were running there.
Órale, órale. And of course, the Vargas are also fighting out of Las Vegas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I first started boxing, they were first at the Capetillo gym. That's where I saw them at first, and they opened up their own gym, and I think that's where they're at.
Órale, okay. Y ¿cómo se llama? Right now, at the moment, who is your boxer? Your top three favorite
Uh,
boxers?
you're
Don't
Mike
get it
like
confused. Oh, sorry, sorry. What are your three favorite boxers at the moment? Not pound for pound, just guys that you like to watch.
all right. Hey, it's got to be in order.
And no, just the three main ones that you like to watch.
Definitely Virgil Ortiz. I'll definitely always watch Virgil Ortiz fight. He's one of the most entertaining fighters I've seen. I like Sergey Boachuk. I like him. I think he actually beat Virgil Ortiz in my
Me
opinion.
too. Me too. I do believe that.
But yeah, definitely Sergey Boachuk. And then let me think. It's kind of hard. Um,
Is that me or you?
oh, that's my dog. My bad.
Okay, okay. Not to make sure. I have a dog too as well. That's why.
Yeah, all the Mexicans got the Chihuahuas. But
What?
probably
What?
also,
What?
but definitely a Dimitri Bivol.
At the Michi, well, I was gonna ask you that. That was my next question. Is like when you look at fighters, do you go for your raza or you don't see raza in boxing?
Uh, yeah, I kind of do see Rasa. I
No,
kind of
no,
see
no, and it's fine. Like for instance, I know that Devin Haney is the better boxer,
that.
but
Definitely.
I'll be rooting for Jose Ramirez not because he's Chicano or Pocho or Mexican American, but because I actually met the guy. So for me, it's more of a bond. Well, it's not even a bond because I don't know who he is, but it's just that the fact that I met him. But I do understand that Haney is the better boxer. So it's like I always tell someone, I'm like, just not it's not the skin colors that sometimes we're just in a way we relate to them more. I don't like the way that Haney dresses. So I'm like, I don't like the way you dress. I don't like you. I don't like the way you talk. I don't like you. So I don't have to root for him. But I do acknowledge the fact that he's the better boxer.
Yeah, I feel it. Well, actually, like I do say, like I'll go for Rasa, but if it's like a dumb matchup and like the Rasa's like clearly outmatched, I'll go for good. I'll go for the good. I'm not dumb. I'm not dumb. Like
Like for instance, I'm a big Camaron guy. He brings action. I'm looking at Shakur. I'm like, maybe I'm being blinded, and everybody's saying, "Oh, Shakur's gonna school him. Shakur's gonna school him." I understand that Shakur is good at boxing. I understand he's a great defensive fighter, but I'm like, this guy throws 1,200 punches. I'm like, you're not gonna tell me that 200 gonna go in? He's throwing 1,200. But
yeah,
I'm like, maybe I'm being blinded by my raza skin, by my not by my raza skin, you by my culture that I just like that style of boxing. So I'm like,
yeah,
maybe I am blind and I can't see it, and that would be the first time that I'm seeing. Maybe I'm being a little biased, unless it happens, and I'll be, I was fucking right. I was fucking right that he was gonna land
yeah.
200 punches. Until then, though, until then,
Yeah. Well, to me, to be honest, like the way I see the Shakur fight, like a healthy 100% good-handed Shakur Stevenson, I'm gonna be honest, he probably does school him. But the way he I saw during the Josh Padley fight, he hit him and then he instantly do this. And the way that Zepeda brings the pressure forward, and he's gonna have to flick and he's gonna have to shot him. He's gonna have to give him a good like shot that's gonna stop him. And his hand, I don't think his hands are gonna keep up all 12 rounds and keep him off of him.
yep. And that's like, and that's what I always tell someone. I'm like, I'm not using the triangle theory, but a pure boxer beats the pure boxer beats the power puncher, or the boxer puncher. The boxer puncher beats the pressure fighter. The pressure fighter beats the pure boxer, because the pure boxer doesn't throw enough for the boxer puncher to counter and get him. The pressure fighter throws a lot more, where the power puncher beats him because he can work off the counter. I'm like, but the pressure fighter doesn't allow the pure boxer to run all night and do his thing because he's constantly pressuring on him. That's not a triangle theory. It's majority of facts that every time you see fights, you're like, oh shit, it is true. And you have to watch a lot of boxing to understand that. Not just because of skin color. No, because Mexicans fight like that. It ain't that. I understand when someone's better, and I understand what's the kryptonite of each one. You can't work off a counter if the guys can't give you shit. That's a fact.
Yeah,
That's a fact.
100%, 100%. I feel like it'll look like Luis Castillo and Mayweather. That's how it's gonna look. Somewhat close to that.
Ándale. I'm not saying that everybody's saying, oh, you're comparing too much on Farmer to Shakur. I'm like, I'm not, because Farmer went toe to toe with Camaron. I'm like, and Farmer does have a little bit power in that division, as opposed to Shakur not having power at 135.
Yeah, like I feel like if they put Shakur in like the same situation as Farmer, like where he messed up his arm, or like say if like Shakur messes up his hand, like you saw like Trayvon, like he had the dog to come back and like bring a fight even though after he messed up his shoulder. I feel like if
Yeah.
something like that happened to Shakur, I don't think he'll have the same like dog in him.
And again, that's only an opinion until it's proven fact. So, for instance, you're saying he doesn't have a dog, and if it happens, you're not wrong. You're not being racially biased. You're just going off on what we've seen. I've always
Yeah,
said it. I don't know where Shakur's chin is at. I don't know
yeah, he's that defensively good that nobody's really tested it.
exactly. And I'm like,
The one person who could have tested it, the De Los Anjos fight, that was a horrible fight.
horrible, horrible. Now,
Oh, he might get done by Keyshawn.
what is your favorite fight of all time?
Uh,
I'll put it this way: your favorite fight of all time with the new generation, like something that you've seen, and then old recordings where you went back and you're like, "Hey, watch this fight because you love it."
uh, New gen, I'd say definitely Canelo versus Triple G2, just because that was the first ever boxing event like I saw live.
Okay.
It definitely got me into that. I went with my cousins to see that one, so that was definitely a banger fight to me. Always going to be one of my favorite ones. And I'd say maybe for an older fight, maybe Lennox Lewis and Mike Tyson. That was a really good boxing fight. I like the way that Lennox Lewis fought in that fight.
And a lot of people don't understand, but I'm like, that wasn't Mike Tyson. And that was after prison, Mike Tyson. This is my old one for for old gen, where I would have to go back to YouTube and watch it. Hagler versus
Hagler Hearns. That's a good fight.
And for my new gen, I love the fact, because I'm gonna say I was kind of tipsy. I was entrepedido when I saw Jose Cepeda versus Ivan Baranchik. That was a COVID fight. It only lasted 5 rounds or 7 rounds, something like that. There was 9 knockdowns, and it was probably one of the best knockouts of that year. And that's close to my heart. But I was living the moment, right? There was no crowd. It was just me screaming, and I loved it. But the high level and intensity of Better Beef versus Bivol 1, it's right now, it's in my books, where I'm like, that's high level. And if people can't see the footwork, if people can't see the jabs, the combos, the constant pressure, the constant offense, um, I don't know what else to tell you. What's a pure boxing skill fight? Because to me, that's what it was.
100%. But to go back to the Jose Ramirez and Devin Haney, 100%. I feel like in this case, just because of the Ryan fight, he could be coming back just better and better in my opinion. But I feel like in this case, the boxer puncher beats the pure boxer, just because the boxer puncher and the normal puncher, the puncher, he doesn't have a chin. I feel like he doesn't have a chin. And Jose, he was, what if he go to the Olympics, right? Silver medalist or something like that.
I think so. I think he's just an Olympic fighter. I don't think he medaled. But he did go to the Olympics, if I recall. I think he went to the Olympics, but he didn't medal. And I was gonna talk about these predictions. You beat me to it, but I wanted to rewind it. I wanted to bring Jaime Munguia versus Siraj, which is on Saturday. Who do you have on that fight? Do you have rematch?
I was looking up the Jose, if he medaled. But for that fight this weekend, it's going to be all Munguia. He knows what's coming. You know, when you see Munguia got the early knockdown, I just feel like he just got too overconfident, he got too hungry on his offense, and that he got bit down really hard. But I feel like with the Reynosos, definitely, like you've seen, like Ryan Garcia, when he went at the Reynosos, his defense like clearly got better. He was doing a lot of dropping.
I'll say this. I feel that Eddie Reynoso is a little bit overrated. To me, he's a little bit overrated. Yeah. But Jaime Munguia is a great listener. So, because he's a great listener, that overrated Eddie Reynoso might give him some defense. I do believe that Munguia should go back to Freddie Roach. You saw it. You saw his work on the John Ryder fight before he fought Canelo. Even with the Canelo, before he got caught, I'm going to put it like this. You can never put what fighters have against Canelo, because Canelo's been dropping everyone.
Yeah.
So Canelo's like the elite. He's like the S tier, where you're like, if Munguia's an A+, he's always going to look below an S tier or the elites, right? But if, let's say, Canelo was an A, you would have seen what Munguia really is. And I've always said everyone, I'm like, I still believe that even though Munguia got knocked out, I still give him a chance to beat Berlanga, even though Berlanga is a better power puncher.
Ooh, that's a good fight right there. I don't think it's going to happen, though. I feel like, how do you feel about the Shiraz fight?
The Shiraz versus Berlanga? I'm gonna give you a snippet, but I will be able to talk about it in July. But for now, I'm looking at Shiraz winning a unanimous decision.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see Berlanga. He a lot of his knockouts are people of the same stature, and I don't think he's gonna like know how to punch really upwards and like get Shiraz.
And not only that, pero yo le digo esto a todos. All right, yes, Berlanga has knockout power, but who has he knocked out that you can consider a B+ fighter or a B- guy?
No, nobody. All those first 16 knockouts, they're all just bums. Like, you can't really discredit it because 16 knockouts is still 16 knockouts, but it wasn't the highest quality game, those 16 knockouts. Like, you see, like, Even
But
when he went up like a little bit with the McRory fight or the Irish, whoever he fought with the Ireland guy, and he like knocked him out. Still, that guy didn't look like he gave him like a dog fight.
yeah, y es lo que digo todo, like, okay, like, for instance, I'm like, maybe all these guys were F plus, D minus, D plus level guys, right? And Berlanga is like a C plus, B minus. So obviously, if you have C power or B power, it's always gonna overtake the defense of the lower tier guy. Munguia has shown that he has a chin for Canelo, an elite level. The thing is that is like I told everyone, I'm like, maybe Canelo ruptured that chin, and Jaime Munguia might become chinny now because it might take one fight to fuck up your whole physical. You gotta remember
Yeah,
that. Now,
definitely.
Siraj is 21-0, 5 knockouts. He knocked out Munguia. You believe that that was just a hiccup and it's not gonna happen? Siraj doesn't have a chance now.
Mm, I don't know. I feel like that was just like Sarase found like a 1 in a million moment to get Munguia there.
All
Like
right.
if like the worst possibility is like the Doctor Strange shit. Like if you can see all the possibility in the world, like that was like the worst possibility for Munguia right there to get clipped right there.
I've never heard it that way. I know what you mean exactly. It's like I right away I picture Siraj. Okay. Oh, this one. I need this one.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
and when it comes to Munguia winning now, because you do have him winning, will it be by decision, knockout? And if it's a knockout, is it late or early?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be like a mid knockout because he like you saw he got him out like semi early. Like I'm not 100% sure like he knocked him down in, but I feel like if he like he's gonna be sharper. I feel like he's gonna be a little more sharper with his offense because he has been with the Reynosos. So I feel like he'll be able to get him out like late to mid. Like I'm somewhere around mid because I
Yeah,
don't think he can get him out there in the distance.
and I also do feel that Munguia is gonna play it a little bit safer now. Like I don't
Yeah,
think it's all pressure. He's gonna be like, back up. Let me handle this shit. Una cosa I will say is that when people say, "Oh, Munguia got knocked out," I'm like, technically he just didn't beat the count because he got up.
yeah.
He got up. I'm surprised that they stopped it in Tijuana, from all places, in his hometown. They fucking stopped the fight when he was on his feet. So that's what surprised me.
I heard
And
that it was because when he got up at 8, like he was like still like the ref saw it, like he was out, like he was just like out, like his legs were out from under him and all that.
I would recommend you go watch Kovalov versus Anthony Yard, and watch. I think it's round 5 or 6 where Yard drops him, and then he's on wobbly legs, and the ref doesn't stop the fight. That's what I mean by if you're fighting in your hometown and you still got a knockout loss. While the Kovalov fight, when he fought in his hometown, they didn't stop the fight.
I feel like it's just like decision to decision, like just like moment to moment. I feel like maybe that day in that one it played that it was like his hometown, but I just think like it was like that bad that they just like stopped it, like
Yeah.
just for like himself.
If anything, he saved him from a CTE later on, because if he wasn't healthy, when he's standing, I think it was only 30 seconds left on the clock. Those 30 seconds could have been the worst 30 seconds of Munguia's career.
Yeah, and then what was it called?
No. I was gonna say on the next fight on that Saturday card is Canelo versus Skull.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're going Canelo, right? But you are Cuban, so maybe you have something for Skull.
No, I'm Cuban, but I'm not done. Nah. Like, how do you feel about like the allegations that he was getting beat up by Conor Benn in the sparring?
Skull?
Did you not see that Conor Benn said that he was beating up on William Skull in the sparring?
Oh shit! I did not hear this, to be honest.
Did you not hear that? He actually said that he like dropped him or like made him quit in the 9th, and he didn't want to go anymore after that. Like if you search it up, it's all over. Like he did it during the Chris Eubank fight when they fought. Like he brought that up. And William Skull today, like if you search that up too, he also like denied it today.
Oh shit! I'll say this, and I will always remain the same thing about sparring. It's sparring stories at the end of the day. It's like one thing. One thing is what happens in sparring ring, and then what happens in the ring. Dalen White dropped Tyson Fury on sparring, and then during the actual fight, Fury knocked him out.
Yeah.
El Zurdo Ramirez beat the shit out of Bivol on sparring, and on fight night, Bibble took him to school 12 rounds to 0. I don't think I gave Zurdo one round whatsoever on that fight,
That
which
was a
kind of
classic.
sucks because I am a Zurdo guy. I like Zurdo, but he did not win one round at all.
Yeah, I don't know how that fool made 168. He's fucking huge now.
He's fighting at cruiserweight. That's 200 pounds,
Yeah,
and he debuted at 160.
exactly, bro. That's a big dude. I think that's also what didn't help him against Bivol. I feel like Bivol does better against bigger dudes because he's
Yeah,
able to like impose his boxing style more because it's an easier target to hit.
it's like people give him shit for his 175 run. I'm like, guys, he did beat a champion at 168. I'm like, and defended that belt 6-7 times. He was a somebody at 168. Then he became a nobody at 175, and now he's a unified champion at cruiserweight while changing his style. I call him Surdochenko now because he moves like Chenko a little bit. Not as bad. No, you should go back and watch CBS fight.
I did watch the CBS fight. Like it was good movement, but he's like clunky with it. Like I feel like he's like kind of like I feel like he's still like a light heavyweight. I feel like he's just like a really like weird size cruiserweight because you can see he has like pudge on him.
Yes, I call him he has a data bot where he's too lazy to cut weight, so he just wants to fight at a natural weight now, and he's looking too fludgy. But because his skills as a pressure fighter, and now that he's learning how to pivot and all that, that's helping him out a lot. He's gonna fight. He's gonna fight Dorticos, and now I'm probably gonna do a little what's it called? A little podcast about it, because that's where he's on the undercard with Jake Paul and Chavez when they fight. So he's gonna be on the undercard. I don't know if I'll talk about it. If I do, I'll probably tell you to join. However, Skull, Canelo, do you see Skull any chance of winning? Do you see him taking him to school, or ahí se acabó?
Like you see like all like the videos. The one thing that worries me definitely is seeing the way that he's conditioning himself. So maybe he could like try to find like a way to stretch out a win over the end. But also, I feel like just the way that Turkey is and the way he's promoting Canelo, and like he already made him a 3-fight deal. I feel like even if William Skull takes him to the 12th, it's not gonna go his way because it's William Skull.
That's true, and I've been noticing a trend with real cards. They do not favor pure boxers. Like if you're constantly running, they're not gonna give you the fight. Yeah. And unless you're like a big name, I'm like, because it didn't help Bibble, and I do believe Bibble's more popular than Better Beef, and it didn't help him in the first fight. But it's like I tell everyone, I still had Better Beef winning regardless. The first fight, there's a big difference where you want to be on the ropes, and that I put you on the ropes. To me, Better Beef put Bibble on the ropes on the first fight. On the second fight, you can tell that Bibble was on the ropes because he wanted to be there.
Yeah.
And people don't see that. Like they just see a guy that's throwing a lot of punches. I'm like, no. I'm like, does Bivol want to be there because he got hurt, or does he want to be there because that's where he wants to box? Very different.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I saw. Like, I think Bivol thought he would be able to cruise like with his boxing style all 12 rounds with Better Beef, but he saw that at some point he's gonna impose it and make me like have to like stand there and fight with him. So I think that's what he brought into the second fight for his game plan.
Yes, and that's why he went toe to toe. Do you have Canelo by decision or knockout?
Oh, I feel like it's gonna go like the Berlanga fight and the Munguia fight. He's gonna drop him like once or twice, and then it's gonna go to the decision.
All right. Do you on when it comes to Canelo regarding that? Do you think Canelo does not have enough power to knock out people, or do you think he's just coasting now? Like once he drops him, he's like, I won. I don't give a fuck no more.
Yeah, I feel like once he coasts. Like I feel like once he drops them, I feel like he coasts after because I feel like he doesn't really the way like just the way that he boxes, he knows that if he just keeps boxing them, is gonna end up being his fight, and he doesn't have to put in that exertion. Because when have you really seen Canelo in kill mode lately?
Probably the Munguia fight, the Charlo, probably John Ryder. The John Ryder was the last killer instinct Canelo that I saw, but he didn't.
That was maybe for like a couple rounds
until he got tired because he wanted to knock him out.
Yeah, definitely. But like I just say like I haven't seen like Canelo on some killer shit since like 60, like 54-60. Like putting up them combinations on his front foot. Like,
I'm gonna say it this way, and then the last fight where he looked like a killer was against Caleb Plant.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I feel like he slowed down after that.
Yes, the whole 168 run was badass when he starting with Caleb Smith, how he fucking le hinchó el músculo, y luego con Avni knocking him out, Billy Joe breaking his face.
Yeah.
and then knocking out como se llama, Caleb Plant, and that was his 168. And that's the last time that we saw a badass Canelo.
Yeah.
Uh, now we jump to the Friday cards. The I would call this the main events, and I'm gonna go obviously with the easiest one, and then I'm gonna end with the one that's more of the 50-50 fight. Let's start with Ryan and Rolly. Does Rolly have any chance at all to win this fight?
I've been to the Salas gyms a couple times. Like when I was parked there, like I've seen Rolly there. He put some pretty good work in there, but I just seen like a lot of holes in his like game. And like as you said, like you can't really count sparring and all that. So you see like the old videos of Ryan and them sparring, but you could clearly see like Rolly's like physically bigger than him. Like Ryan, I think before, like once he couldn't make 135, I feel like his body just kept growing and growing and growing and growing after that. Because like you seen before, he was just like a really skinny ass kid before.
Yeah.
And like he was young when he sparred Rolly. So I feel like only reason Rolly even made it that way is because he couldn't impose it. But now Ryan Garcia definitely has the reach, got the strength, got the size. I just think Rolly's he's gonna catch something. It's not gonna. I feel like Rolly's not gonna go in there dumb and try to brawl because he knows he has power. I feel like he's gonna try to box a little more, and I just feel like Ryan Garcia is just gonna catch him because Rolly doesn't have. Definitely doesn't have the amateur background as Ryan Garcia or even the pro. Like I'd say, I'm not really sure what their fights are, but I say maybe they're around like the same, or Rolly has a little less pro experience. Definitely with opposition. I say Rolly has had like a bit of the better opposition, but the better performances have come from Ryan Garcia.
Does he though? I mean, Tank, Pitbull. Yeah, Abuelito does not count, bro.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Because you saw what he did to that 140 contender. He knocked that fool out in 1 round.
Davies.
Yeah, dude. Everybody was talking about that dude. Everybody wanted him to fight fucking Devin Haney, and then he just got fucking cyber clocked.
All right, so Pitbull, my abuelito, and this is a 140 Pitbull, not even a 135 Pitbull. My abuelito, Tank Davis, and I think Ivan Redcatch. No, did he even fight Ivan Redcatch? Just them three.
I take that back. He doesn't have a better resume. I say lately though.
And then you got Ryan with Tank.
Devin Haney, man. Yeah.
You can kind of say Oscar Duarte is becoming a good win. You can say that. Right, and then he fought Luke Campbell, which Luke Campbell was an Olympic fighter. Yeah. I'm not sure if he medaled though, but he does have that. He has that background. And who else can you maybe Javier Fortuna? But he was coming up in weight, so it's this. Other than that, they kind of look similar in a way. So we'll see. I do know that Ryan is faster. That guy is literally fucking fast. I was watching his sparring session with what's his face, Blair Cobbs, and he caught him with the left or with the right. I forgot which one it was, and I was shocked out how fast it was that I didn't even catch it.
Yeah, and then I heard that like when he sparred him at Floyd Mayweather's gym, he knocked him down or knocked him out. I'm not sure what the story was.
But the Ryan versus Cobbs thing was just recently. They've been sparring for this upcoming fight. That's why I brought it up, because I was like, when I saw, and I'm only saying fast because I can relate that fast speed on the actual boxing fight. Because I'm like, like I said, if they drop each other, like, I don't care about that. But you can actually see, I'm like, oh, he's practicing his jab. He's practicing it. Like when you saw Wilder on his sparring videos, that guy never did anything and was always trying to look for a knockout, even in sparring. I'm like, bro, that's why you have a fucking jab. I'm like, work on your fucking pivots. I'm like, that's why I always tell someone, I'm like, you cannot count sparring stories as something real, because you do not know what, for instance, Angel's working on. Let's say you're working on pivots and I'm working on a jab. So if I'm just working on a fucking jab and you're working on pivots, I'm like, who's gonna look better? I'm like, oh, it all depends on who's landing more. But if I'm working on just jabs and nothing else, I might land a lot more while you're just working on pivots. That's where I always tell people, I'm like, they're not just there to fight. Because I'm pretty sure, Angel, your coach has told you, okay, today we're gonna working on lifting your arm after 8 rounds. It's like, I want you to do your thing, but then after 8 rounds, I've been noticing that you've been dropping your arm. I want you to keep it up. That's your practice today. Unless I'm wrong, because I think that's how coaches should be going about.
Yeah, definitely. That's how my coach definitely. He tries to help me out with like my mistakes, but I like my coach because more instead of like working on my mistakes, because we do like obviously we gotta work on my mistakes, like all the mistakes I have. But I feel like he also like really, really builds on like my upsides and my good sides, which helps out.
Which is also good because if you're good at it, make it better.
Exactly.
Because like, yo le he dicho a todos, like to work on your flaws, it's much harder to accomplish than to work on what you're doing good and make it a lot better.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were lagging. You said quiet. All right, now we both have Ryan. Do you see Rolly landing a big knockout?
No, I just like maybe the one thing that gives me hope that Rolly might get something done is like you saw that Devin Haney rocked Ryan Garcia. Like he caught him with that like fat hook, like just boom, got him like that.
Early, which was round one. I think it was round one or round two,
It
and
was
it was
round
early.
two.
That's why I still continue to say Ryan Garcia's fucking chinny. I'm like, I don't give a shit when people tell me it's recovery time. I'm like, no. If Teofimo would have landed that same shot that Luke Campbell landed, Ryan would have lost by knockout. When
Yeah,
he,
definitely a 135 teal too.
yeah, 135 teal, not a 140. I don't know about 140 teal, but the 135 teal would have knocked out Ryan if he landed that same shot that Luke Campbell landed. Now,
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat where like if Rolly catches him early, maybe, but I don't see it. I do have Ryan knocking him out under 6 rounds.
Yeah, I could see Rolly maybe like rocking him for sure, but I just feel like Rolly wouldn't get the finish.
Okay,
Like
and
I wouldn't be able to build up off of it just because like of his lack of experience.
where do you have the stoppage at?
Maybe the fourth.
The fourth. Ooh, all right. I'm going under 6, so we're in the same boat.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna go with another that's a close fight for different reasons. The Jose Ramirez versus Devin Haney, which you kind of touched on it. I'm still undecisive. I'm going with Haney, but I'm not 100% all Haney. I know that I said earlier that I'm a Ramirez guy. I love Ramirez, and I'll be rooting for him in the fight. I know that Haney's a better boxer. It's just I'm going on a what if, Angel, and I'm asking you this question: do you believe in a beatdown that can fuck you up in life?
No, nah, just because like even like because like I feel like every boxer could like relate to this, but like maybe you'll have like a bad spar and they'll kick your ass. But I learned early that it's just like a lesson, like from that. But I'd say maybe some people, like people to people, I say they could take a loss differently and like getting their ass whooped differently. So I feel like it just depends person to person.
What about the physical part?
The physical part, mm, I feel like that could be bad, definitely,
Because
because you could be fucked up after.
I'm gonna use two examples of two wars that happened, and then the guys look like shit on their next fight. Ivan Branchik versus Miguel Cepeda. Perdón, versus Jose Cepeda, El Chon, Branchik, the fight that I was talking about earlier. They went to war. He got knocked out in 5 rounds. Next fight, Ivan Baranchik gets knocked out in 2. Chon Cepeda got lucky out his guy in 1 round. But in the following fight, he gets knocked out.
Yeah.
So the other guy is Wilder, Deontay Wilder. Fury beats the shit out of him. He knocks him out. And then what happens with Zhilei Zhang?
Dude. He fucked him up.
And even and people are saying, "Oh, well, you're looking too much." Okay, Joseph Parker made him look fucking bad too, and that was after the Fury fight. So why am I talking about this? Because I'm looking at the beatdown that Ryan Garcia put on Devin Haney. Yes, Garcia was on pets. Yes, it's a no contest. It never happened. My eyes told me Ryan Garcia beat that booty up hardcore, bad. It looks like he almost broke his jaw.
I feel like he did, but I feel like I don't know if Ryan Garcia was conditioned in that fight. I feel like Devin Haney would definitely have some long term damages. But I feel like man, it was a bad beatdown, but he didn't knock him out. He Devin Haney wasn't like he was able to get up sometimes, and he looked all right. He didn't look too fucked up. So I feel like he'll definitely still have some in him. And then I heard right now, like I don't know if I should really be like talking about this, but like my teammate, he spars Devin Haney. And what they're calling him right now up for is because it's too late now because at the beginning of the camp they wanted him to spar with Devin Haney and then like something happened and he didn't end up going. But then at the end of the camp, like a couple weeks ago, they called him and they're like, "Oh, could we get you to spar?" Because Devin Haney is whooping the shit out of every sparring partner.
Oh,
So I like that for sure. Like that's what my teammate told me.
so and obviously you're talking gym talks, like that's what you hear in the gym, and it's not just a podcaster just going on his what ifs and his myths and all that.
Yeah,
Because
no. This is like my teammate. He has experience with Devin Haney. Like he told me
all right,
that. Oh yeah, they told me that he's beating up his sparring partners. He needs better sparring. That's why they want my teammate. Because my teammate, yeah, that dude's really good. He's 12-0 for a reason.
all right, all right. Jose Ramirez is also coming from a now, but he didn't look that bad against Arnold Barbosa. He just
Yeah.
lost a decision. They're both going to fight at 147. That means that they're both not going to cut all the way down to 140. I've been saying this for years after the Taylor fight. Jose Ramirez should have moved up after that fight because he's been
Yeah,
looking so lethargic, right? And he's big.
huge.
So, can you see Devin Haney knocking out Jose Ramirez?
That dude. When was Devin Haney's last fucking knockout?
Like
I think I don't even think I talked to my first like girl yet when Devin Haney got a knockout.
Dang, man. You're stupid, dude. That was a good one. So if there's a knockout to happen on that fight, would you say it would be?
It's gonna be Devin Haney.
You're saying that Haney's coming in 100% mentally, 100% physically.
No,
That he's
especially not like a year off, and you see that the fight. If you're gonna sue a person, it definitely fucked you up mentally. Like something fucked you up mentally.
So he's not coming in 100% mentally.
Nah, I don't really think so. And then I'm gonna be honest, like I feel like this has nothing to do with it, but like the Young Thug stuff with like his girlfriend and all that stuff, I'd be fucked up too.
You know what? You're saying it has nothing to do with it. It has a lot to do with it because that does fuck with your mental weakness.
Yeah, it does. He wifed her. They have a kid.
I was watching the little press conference that they had. What was it, a week ago or 2 weeks, where they're all sitting on the couches, and Teofimo Lopez was getting under his skin. You can tell that under his skin, and I'm like just ignore him. I'm like he's just a loudmouth kid. All you gotta do is ignore him, and you can tell that Teofimo really got under his skin, and you can tell they both don't like each other. But I'm like, bro, I'm like, if he's doing that to you, you're lucky Jose Ramirez doesn't talk. That guy's a very respectful. I'm like, that guy's a very respectful guy that he doesn't really get into that talking game. That's why I'm like, I'm surprised that he sells out his fights every time he fights on the West Coast because he has a lot of support from the Fresno people.
RGBA, yeah.
Yeah, from
there.
Y como se llama, but he's very respectful. Very respectful.
Yeah,
I do
like that.
I do have Haney winning a decision. Do I see him getting dropped or rocked? I definitely see him getting dropped or rocked.
Yeah. But I don't know. Jose Ramirez is not the craziest power puncher. Ryan Garcia was known for that left hook. That left hook kept getting him. It was the same shot over and over. So who knows? Maybe it was just Ryan Garcia's power that overrated. And also, I think my take on like the Ryan Garcia PEDs thing, maybe he wasn't guilty, maybe he was, but I also feel like he could have like used something and try to flush out his system, and they just didn't flush it out well enough before he had to take the piss.
Well, he was using IV fluid.
Yeah.
All right, not regarding the PEDs or anything like that. I've always said it, and I will maintain this to the day I die. I was like, okay, he used PEDs, cool, right? But how does that make him faster for a left hook? How does that make Ryan Garcia better than you and not yourself left hook? It's just PEDs. It's not going to make you faster. It'll make you stronger, but not faster.
I'd say that if he was taking PEDs for sure and he was training on PEDs, because your training, it 100% translate to your fight and like when you spar and do that. I feel like if he was training off of PEDs, I feel like that could translate to the fight. Just like off of like just pure muscle and like instinct. Like his reactions are going to be a bit better. Like he's going to have more speed and strength because he was on steroids. But well, not obviously. I'm not trying to bring up no controversy or nothing. But like if it's going to come up, it's going to come up for some reason.
What's it called? It came out in the fight. He got 6 month ban. I'll say this: you said that Jose Ramirez doesn't have crazy power, but he does throw a lot more.
Definitely, that dude's a good volume puncher.
That's one. Two. Devin Haney tends to go toe to toe to give out a show. That's something that I love about Haney that I hate about Shakur. No, comparing both because they're both pure boxers. Haney
Yeah.
does go a little bit more toe to toe, even though he doesn't have power. So he
Haney's
does
got
take,
speed though.
huh?
Haney's got speed though, for
He
sure.
does have speed. So when I see this fight, I'm like, if he goes toe to toe with Jose Ramirez in the pocket, like, that's Jose Ramirez A side. I mean, that's his sweet stuff, like that's his pie, that's his creme de la creme. I'm like, that's where I see. I'm like, can I see Haney getting rocked or dropped? That's where I see it. But if he goes like old school Haney, where he just boxes around the circle, around the ring, I'm like, yeah, it's a clear decision that he's gonna win. That's how Arnold won. And then
100%. But I just feel like he makes it like a really dirty fight. But I feel like Devin can clean box enough to get a decision,
yes,
even if he does try to go toe to toe.
if that beatdown really did affect Devin Haney, we're gonna see it in this fight. If that beatdown, if Jose Ramirez exploits it but loses, someone else is gonna catch him. It's only gonna be a matter of time before Haney gets knocked out real bad. That's
Yeah.
it. If he's coming bad after that beatdown, if he's still
And
good,
at
then
147 too.
and at 147, the only guy I can see fucking Evan Haney with the belts at 147 is Barrios.
Yeah, man, I feel like he gets cracked by fucking Brian Norman.
Yeah,
I feel like that'd be a decent fight, but I just feel like Brian Norman has that pop. Like you see, even his last fight, that dude, the other dude he was fighting had pop, and he popped his ass.
and these are big boys. These are 147, but they're not 140. These are big motherfucking kids.
No, they're big boys. I'm gonna my debut is gonna be at 147, and like I told you, I walk around damn near almost 180, like sometimes high 170s, and I'm 6 foot, so I'm gonna be a big welterweight too.
Or that shit, 6 feet. That's what. Yeah, you're taller than Jose Ramirez. That's Jose Ramirez 5'10". That's
You
top.
got keep your muscle. No, I'm not sure right now.
No, you don't. Yeah, this is all from landscape.
Mm,
Míralo. And then of course our final fight, Arnold Barbosa Jr. versus Delfimo Lopez Jr.
That's
Who do
tricky.
you have in this fight? I think this is where me and you are gonna split because I know that I don't have Tio winning.
Nah, I don't know. I feel like the way that he's crafty, I feel like he might do some. The only way I have Tito winning is it's not gonna be a good win. I feel like it's gonna be one of those Steve Claggett. What's Tito Ortiz? Not Tito Ortiz. That's an MMA fighter. Whatever that dude's name is.
Bro, I know who you're talking about. Pinche.
The Venom gloves, the blue Venom gloves.
See, the Dominican kid.
Yeah, that kid. I feel like
Jermaine Ortiz.
yeah, I feel like it's gonna like Teofimo could edge it out, but I feel like it's gonna be like a dirty edge out. Like I feel like it's not gonna be a beautiful fight. I feel like Teofimo he puts on a performance when he's at 100%, but I feel like they're like Lomachenko is like a more straightforward boxer, and Arnold Barbosa he I feel like he's a boxer, but he's rough, and I feel like Teofimo doesn't like going against like rough fighters because sometimes like his performances look bad. Like you saw Steve Claggett was catching his ass a lot.
And so that's where I see the banana slip, that I'm like the banana peel, sorry, that I'm like, okay, you struggle with tough, rough fighters. You like that fight though. He likes to fight like that with those rough fighters, but he struggles a lot. He gets caught a lot, but he also struggles with pure boxers.
Yeah,
Which Barbosa is in the mix of both. He can be a pure boxer, but he's too flat-footed to be considered a pure boxer. And that's where I struggle with Arnold. I'm like, dude, what are you going to give me? I'm like, are you going to sit on your fucking feet and go for the knockout? Or do you want to move around and be like a Shakur, like a Devin, but you're not that slick? I'm like, so what are you trying to be? But because of that reason alone, that he is a mover, I have to go with Arnold because Tio is not the greatest fighter against movers.
yeah. I'm gonna say for me, definitely it's gonna be Tio. It's gonna be an ugly fight.